welcome to Interviews by the Beach. I'm Zach Boetto. I'm sitting here with James Kraft of State of Sea. James, can you tell me a little bit about your new EP, Illusions?
Yeah, it's a 22-minute album. It's got 6 tracks on it. It was produced in Los Angeles. It's kind of ambient meets folk meets some shoegaze. It's a mix of different kinds of music. It's a collaboration between myself and 2 Danish songwriters and musicians, and it was written in Copenhagen and then performed there and then produced and recorded in Los Angeles. So it's kind of like a world album in a way. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What went into the making of the EP?
I met the 2 Annas. There's 2 of them. I met them over in Los Angeles, and then we decided to work together. So a few months later, I flew over to Copenhagen, and we wrote our songs there. Do you mean like specific instrumentation and stuff? It was guitars, synthesizers. Yeah, it was a really great process. And then we hired musicians out in Los Angeles. We had some violin on the track, some cello, some clarinet, and then electronics and guitar and percussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to it. It was nice.
Thanks.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
How did you meet Annas? You said you met. Their names are...
Yeah, Anna Scharling and Anna Romer.
And where are they now?
They're in Copenhagen. They're 2 Danish musicians who perform and write over there under their own project, their own projects. Yeah. I met them in Los Angeles. They came out here for like a writer's retreat, basically. They found a place to stay. They connected with their Danish colleague, a friend of mine. And then because of my songwriting background and my music production background, band background, he linked us up, and then we just really got along. We wrote a song, and we were like, "Whoa, this is a really good song. We should keep on doing this." So,
Did that song make the EP?
it actually did not make the EP, which is hugely ironic. And I've been fantasizing of maybe releasing a single next with that track. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some of the inspiration behind the EP?
Absolutely.
Illusions?
Yeah. I think the first inspiration was basically the fact that we were collaborating together, and that they were all the way in Denmark. I was in Los Angeles. Flying over to Denmark was an inspiring experience in itself. I got to fly there by way of Iceland, and just being up north, looking down on the earth, seeing all the clouds, and then flying into this country I'd never been to before was really exciting. And I started writing right away. So it's a lot about kind of being between borders, being up in the air in a way, either figuratively or literally, and just looking down and enjoying that feeling of being between places. That also led to us talking about Edward Snowden, because Snowden, the writing was about 1.5 years ago, and the Snowden experience like really hit them strongly when I was talking about it, and the movie was just coming out with Oliver Stone, and so we started talking about that, and we started to link our experiences as these musicians, writers, and travelers to Snowden's experience of what it must have been like to leave his life behind, to leave everything behind, to like kind of plunge into the unknown, and that ended up inspiring some of our writing as well. So there are some parts of the songs and some lyrics and some elements that are like directly related to that as well. And love is part of it too, you know, traveling and being with someone and kind of witnessing and going through life with someone at the same time. So yeah, that was enough. That was enough for 6 songs. Yeah.
You've created projects before, but I saw that this was your first project officially on iTunes as a band together. what changed from maybe your solo career to now working with new artists?
Right. Well, my previous career as a songwriter was actually in a larger band that was more of a collective out in New York called La Strada. This was different in the sense that I got to co-write with these two great musicians from Denmark. So that was very exciting for me to be working with people from other parts of the world where our common language was English to some extent, but also music. So we got to cross-pollinate where we were from and what our influences were. They really brought to me this beautiful Scandinavian sound, reminiscent of Sigur Rós, and singing as well. Anna Scharling has a great voice, but her singing and her melodic choices were very unique to where she's from. And I'm really I have a lot of experience with folk songs, with writing songs, just kind of good old classic American songwriting. So it was this synthesis of those two ideas and those two places that was really exciting for me. Yeah.
Cool. And where did you guys record the EP? You said it was in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we did not record it in a big studio. We recorded it in basically my apartment. We brought in my engineer who just brought all his mobile material over to it, and we just did recordings in my place. So it was a apartment record, mastered in a studio and mixed in a studio. But yeah, it was exciting to see what kind of sound we could get out of my apartment. It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
What label are you guys with, if you don't mind me asking?
We're on our own independent label right now called Workspace in Atlanta.
Cool.
Yeah.
How's that going, being independent in things?
It's good. We're just so excited to release this album at all that we had managed to get the funding for it and committed to it. We're just really excited to get the music out there and to let people enjoy it and however they can. So it's a victory already, really. And, like talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah.
It's great talking to artists. I find it very inspiring to my work also. So speaking of people enjoying your work, do you plan on going on tour for the EP?
We are more of a recording project-oriented situation right now. We don't have any touring plans, actually. It's just a recording project that we're enjoying sharing online, basically. There's always the possibility of that happening. We've performed live before a number of times, and it would be great to do it again. They're great musicians.
So, do you have any stories from maybe the recording process between you and the two girls that you worked with that you'd like to share?
Sure. I think one of the exciting things was they're into kind of natural recording in the sense that I can sometimes be a perfectionist and record bit by bit, making sure everything's absolutely perfect. And sometimes that can get in my way. But they were very inspiring and just encouraged us to just do these long takes and just let it be organic and let that be part of the music as well. So some of the tracks are just one-take tracks, live tracks, vocal tracks. When we're singing as duets, and there's a lot of duets, a lot of the songs we just sing straight through, and it really worked well. We actually produced it. We met in Paris at one point, in between Copenhagen and Los Angeles, and we spent a bit of time kind of going through how we wanted to build the album and how we wanted the instrumentation to work. So we were all really freaking sick for some reason. We all had this like weird Parisian flu. Ooh. And it was in like December. It was cold, so we were drinking like hot wine and just trying to get through it. But hot wine. Yeah, like hot heated wine. Yeah, they put spices in it and everything. We trying to get through the production process, and we were happy with what we came out with. So when they flew out here for the recording, everything was basically laid out. We had arranged a lot already.
And being in Paris to record. Go ahead.
And the flu was done luckily by then. So
By LA.
Yeah.
That's good. Have your voice cleaned up.
yeah.
Being in Paris, what was that like, recording with artists from another country, you know? As someone that's from LA, going to another country to record and things.
Yeah.
Can you tell me something about that?
Well, actually, Paris was more for rehearsing and arranging. So, you know, again, it was fun being in different places and kind of embracing the project and the album as a world-oriented album, about being between places, about not just being rooted in what you know, but kind of dislocating yourself, which is where the name Illusions comes from. You know, thinking of Snowden, thinking of myself, and maybe all of us. There's times when we have to let things go, let our illusions go, and move on into something new. Sometimes that new thing is an illusion as well, but you know, it's a process of just changing it up. So yeah.
Can you tell me about maybe the idea behind, Illusions, the name behind the album, and some of the cover art? I noticed it was cloudy and a little dark.
Yeah.
There were blue tones and gray tones.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, Illusions was inspired by this idea of leaving where you're from and letting things go and being in a way up above it all, in between places. Not really being sure that you were really there anyway, or you are who you are. It's this idea of somehow being relocated and in a new place and challenged, you know, to learn something new or to find a new security or a new thing. And the music is based a lot on that of disillusion, of letting an old illusion go and then stepping into something new. Dawn over Iceland is that feeling of stepping into something new, being in between places and feeling something's coming. Eyes Wide Open is about the waking up of being in a place that you may not agree with anymore. What's your second question? Sorry. Illusions.
And the cover art.
Oh, the cover art, yeah. Yeah, the cover art was actually, we went through quite a bit of cover art. This one just felt like the best, and it was literally a photo that I took over Iceland.
Wow.
Yeah, from an airplane. And it's just clouds, and you know, so it was just magical. It seemed to fit the feel of the album, so we went with it. Yeah.
I noticed on the album you have Illusions 1 and Illusions 2. Was 1 not enough? What's behind that?
You know, that's the idea of bookending it with two illusions. I'll leave that up to the listener to realize why. It's an interesting choice, and it's a creative choice, but you know, maybe there's a deep philosophical or emotional reason. I'll leave that up to you guys to go with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The song In a Hotel Room in Moscow.
Yeah.
Was that inspired by a time that you were in Russia?
No, that was inspired by Snowden. Snowden experience. It's like he was. We were imagining what it was like for him to be landing in Moscow and all of a sudden being in this completely disorienting place, or maybe he felt completely at home. It doesn't really matter, but to us it was like, wow, you know, what was that like to leave Hawaii and then to be in Hong Kong and then all of a sudden to be in Moscow, wondering who's watching you, wondering how endangered you are. That was a very Snowden inspired number, and it just kind of came out. The words just came out, and we wrote down, and the song was made. Yeah.
What is it about Snowden that truly inspired you?
True inspiration, I think, was making a choice based on a very high sense of personal ethics that might even physically endanger him, and certainly absolutely uproot him, and push him up against everything that he didn't know. But choosing to do that regardless of the danger, regardless of the discomfort, for something that he truly believed in, and regardless of whether someone agrees with what he did politically or ethically or not, I think doing that is kind of beyond politics in a way. It's a very courageous move. Yeah.
Can you tell me about maybe how did you go about making the songs, and which came first? Which songs came first, and which songs did you make later on in the album that you decided you were gonna keep for the EP?
That's a great question. Well, Dawn Over Iceland was the first song, because I landed in the evening. I woke up really early in the morning and then wrote the melody out and the lyrics out, because I'd just been over Iceland. I had that photo and I was just thinking of it. And then a lot of it's a blur because we had like 5 days and we wrote just intently for 2 or 3. I feel like Illusion came out of our talking about Snowden, and so did the Moscow too. In a hotel room in Moscow. I think Eyes Wide Open might have come second. But yeah, I mean, we had 2 or 3 days. We had a rehearsal space, and we just wrote. We had a few other songs that we decided to remove from the album because we didn't feel like they fit, and we wanted this album to feel like it was one solid idea that could almost be perceived as a loose narrative. Yeah.
Do you see yourself and the band State of C moving forward to make more music? If so, have you made any?
You know, we see ourselves as people right now that are just pushing this album, where we want to be there for this music right now, and we're really excited about the fact that it's even there in the world and we get to support it. We would love to work together again. Yeah.
Are you happy with the outcome of the album?
Very happy. Very happy. Yeah. We spent quite a bit of time with our engineer, and we all walked away really feeling like we did exactly what we wanted.
And who is your engineer?
Oh, his name's Ryan Stewart. He's an engineer in Los Angeles. Runs a studio. He's great. Yeah.
Were you working with any producers going into the album also?
We sent over to a producer friend of ours, and he gave us notes on the mix, and then we implemented those notes with our engineer. And we've had some other musical friends who were just kind of by our side and giving us feedback and making sure that we didn't do anything or forgot anything. Making sure we didn't do anything too stupid or forgot anything. Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little wild, I'm sure, when it's in the process, making the music. I know it can get difficult because possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
So, with your background being in LA,
Yeah.
what did you find yourself bringing to the music when working with the other 2 artists?
I feel like it was mostly my background as a songwriter. Writing songs is basically coming up with melody, chords, and coming up with lyrics. And in a way, it's really simple. But if you do it 400 or 500 times or whatever, it takes on a. I mean, it's a special experience, and it's very close to me, and to have a way to express myself. So just to show up with the guitar and be like, let's write songs. That's me bringing everything I possibly can in a way. After the fact, after the songs are written, there's 1,000 ways, like you said, to dress the songs, to arrange them, what instrumentation you want to use, and I have background with that, so I did everything I could to help with that as well. Yeah. And I also love getting out of the way of really, really creative people, and I was really lucky to be around some like really creative folks. So that's the best part of collaborating with them is doing the best you can, but then also being like, well, what's going to come out of this? I have absolutely no idea, because they're going to come up with all these amazing things too. So.
Where are you from? What's and how old are you? What's some of your background?
Yeah. I'm from Sacramento, California. I was actually there until I was 18, and then I lived in Europe for a while. I lived in New York for a long time as a musician.
Tell me about Europe.
Let's see, France. I was born in France and lived in France for a while. And then I lived in Romania for like 2.5 years in my early 20s.
Playing music?
Playing music, teaching, just getting away from everything that I knew and enjoying that adventure. Yeah. And I've just been in music. Just trying to go deeper and deeper into it, or just living a life of it, and it's been really great. It's taken me all over, and I hope that it continues to. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's a big part of your music inspiration, was leaving the United States and being in France and Romania and Europe, and being part of that? How so?
Well, for one, music is a language. And, because of being in these different places, you see that it's this thing that speaks to people in all these different ways. And you realize that you could express it in all these different ways, and all these different styles if you wanted to. So what's the most personal style? What's the deepest style? And then you just spend a lot of time trying to do something that you feel like is most personal, most deep. And in a way, by seeing all these different ways, or all these different places, you get to draw from them in a way. Somehow you feel like you're drawing from them and putting into what you really care about. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are there any moments of being overseas where you can vividly remember having an idea of clarity, maybe when it came to music, and understanding of what you wanted to maybe get across to millions of people that might listen to your music?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in terms of clarity, it's. I think that when I was in Romania, I basically became obsessed with music, and I started to produce it as well as write it, just constantly there, because I had all this downtime in this little town, and I ended up going out performing it and doing all this stuff with it. But it was like it was like a real falling in love and commitment to the art. As for like an overall deeper message or deeper self to say something, I feel like it's always been there in a sense. That's just saying something truthful and something kind of honest and straightforward, and just try to write really good melodies and very good music. Yeah. And also just the international element of it. Being in different places has always inspired. I've always felt like a citizen of different places at the same time, not just an American, but like different places, and always wanting to somehow express that and honor that through music, which is I think why State of Sea is so exciting to me, and kind of where the name comes from. You know? It's like it's not about a country; it's about a more global thing, a more global perspective.
Can you go into that a little more, maybe about the name of the band, State of Sea?
Yeah, well, it first came from the fact that we were collaborating from these different places, and our meeting point would be in the middle of the ocean. The halfway point would be in the middle of the ocean somewhere. And then we realized what a great kind of theme or thing to focus on, because the sea is like covers 2/3 of the planet. It's like 95% of it is undiscovered. It's just there's so much about it that we don't understand and can't even comprehend that we just really wanted to embrace that and say, well, that's where all the mystery is. That's where all the inspiration is. Like we want to acknowledge that as a group, especially as Denmark's a watery place. They have a long history of ships and sailing, and so is this place. So yeah, we want to embrace that. Yeah.
Yes. What kind of music did you find yourself listening to in the making of this album? That maybe has made you the artist today. Can you tell me a little bit about some of that music that has
Sure.
really gone into that?
Sure. For me, my roots are in songwriting are probably like Bob Dylan and the Beatles and things like that. To me, that's just like that's the food, the most basic important food that I ever had and ate as a songwriter. But in terms of Scandinavian music, we were inspired by like Sigur Rós and ambient music, and oh man, they have like a slew of stuff that they could tell you right now, but I just can't remember it. I could pull out my phone and read some things if you wanted, but
That's all right.
yeah.
So how did you listen to music there? Was it very modern the way you listened to it? Speakers, or did you guys break out the old vinyls? And did you get into some old stuff? Or
No.
how old are the other girls that you're working with also?
Oh, they're in their like late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, not vinyls. Mostly like just phones and playing stuff back, plugging it in and sharing. Yeah, sharing stuff that inspires us. Yeah, some really great stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about a little bit about working with the girls and what they're like?
Sure. Yeah, Anna Romer is a guitarist, beautiful guitarist. Just really into the sound of what she's creating. You can probably hear that on the album, and really specific with her sound. Brought all these pedals and assortment of pedals and things to the recording. So just very laid back, very focused. Just loves playing guitar. So that was a real pleasure to work with. Also came up with some great licks, some great progressions and things that we ended up just singing over and creating songs to, which is really fun. And then Anna Scharling is like just a great singer, a great vocalist. She has her own project in Denmark, and her voice was just golden. And she's a real songwriter, comes up with great lyrics and great melodies. So they're a real pleasure to work with. Yeah, they showed me around Copenhagen quite a bit. We saw some, beautiful bridges and beautiful parts of the town. So yeah.
Were they good hosts?
Yeah, absolutely.
Showed you around.
Absolutely, yeah.
What were maybe some of the most beautiful things that you saw while you were over in Denmark? Did you go to Denmark?
I did, yeah.
Over in Denmark. What were some of the cool things you saw?
Uh,
Never been.
no, I'd say the biking was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody there bikes. I mean, it's just like, you know how LA has a bunch of cars? Well,
Yeah.
there's just like bike traffic lanes and just seas of bikes all parked thing. You're just like, what? But that's what they, you know, there's of course they're cars, but there's a lot of biking. So the guy just hop on a bike and just bike around town. And everything's really organized with the biking. So all of a sudden you're going up over a bridge with all these bike lanes, and then down by all these castles, these old castles from 17th century, 16th century, palaces, all in the middle of the city. Just a really bustling, beautiful city, and a watery city again. Like it used to be, it was a really important port, and it's like strategic location, you know, back in the day. So there are all these old ports and lots of boats everywhere. Really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, really cool.
I'll have to go sometime.
Yeah, you should. Tickets are really cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how many songs were on the project before the final cut for the EP? And maybe how many songs did you have to cut?
I remember, it could be more than one, but I remember cutting one song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's not bad.
No.
And
no.
why? Why was the song cut?
It had a different feel. It had a different feel. It's hard to explain, but the idea of that song in the middle of all the other ones felt like the EP might be a little like lumpy, you know, and we wanted it to be kind of smooth and clean, kind of going from one song to the next. And then the first song we recorded that we considered recording, we decided not to record that one at this point because it also had a different feel. You know, songs have different perspectives and different approaches, kind of where you're coming from in terms of like singing and like the language you're using and stuff. And the ones that made the album really all seem to kind of fit together. Yeah, like a bridge over a river. Yeah.
Enjoy it. When it comes to making the ambient sounds and the rising and the falling of the different instruments in between, how did you go about timing, and how did you go about really sound power you know, when it comes to the different instruments?
Absolutely, yeah.
What did you want to stand out? and
Well, we
why?
wanted the guitar to stand out because Anna's sound is kind of the backbone sound of our album. Ambient, spacious, mysterious, and then we thought of other instruments that could complement that without taking over. So we added some acoustical instruments like the clarinet a few times, and the violin kind of coming in very high and swooping down, but just really kind of sound brushes of new color. We also have a cello that comes in at times at the end of some of the tracks, and again, it's like a brush of color, like or a response, an emotional response to what has already happened, but not the backbone of what we were writing. And then in order to fill things out, we also added quite a few synths. We had a Juno 106 and a Korg MS-20, like two great kind of classic synths, just to create a little bit more texture and some bass, things like that, and some percussion, again to create more kind of rhythmic texture, but not to take over, just to kind of add to the process.
And I assume you have a background in music. Were you raised as a musician? Were your parents musicians?
No, my parents were not musicians. No, they were teachers. Art teachers, were teachers, exploring the world, France, and all that stuff. Parents were big fans of music, though, and I went into music kind of on a dare on my own, and haven't turned back. I was in this band, and then I actually went to school later and was like, I should study for a couple years, so I actually studied some stuff.
What was that first band that you were in? And what age?
I was in La Strada. It was like,
right.
yeah, it was like 10 years ago. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
What was that experience
It was
like?
great. It was great. Well, we traveled all over. You know, went to Canada, way up into Canada, way up to Newfoundland, all through Canada, opening up for some big bands there, and then just traveled all through the East Coast and the Midwest and the South. It was just a bunch of really dedicated guys writing music and playing songs together. It was fun.
How do you like writing with some new women? You know, the new band. Do you still feel as if you have a lot of creative ability to do what you want?
Yeah.
Or more?
Yeah. It's a collaboration. You know, it's a respectful collaboration. It's great to work with them. Yeah, and when it comes to creating and kind of creating music together, yeah, it doesn't matter age or man or woman or whatever. It's just like if it works, it works, and if it works pretty early on, and then you feel, at least I felt like I needed to pursue it because it worked. Writing music is a very personal process, and if you can find people that are willing to come in with you and you agree with, and then at the same time you create something that you're proud of, you feel like you can never write on your own. It's a special thing, and it's definitely worth pursuing. Yeah, it's rare.
It's very cool to me.
Yeah.
That's why I love interviewing artists, because it is very personal.
Right.
And there is a lot of work that goes into it. And a lot of times I hear artists say that, it's a piece of them that goes into the music. And a lot of times also the fans come back, and that reassurance, or maybe not reassurance, but that love from the fans often fuels a lot of artists to continue to make music and put themselves out there more.
Right.
Is there anything that you would say to your fans out there, or people that are listening to your album?
Wow. We spend a lot of time on it, and I hope it inspires them. I hope it makes them want to try new things, and makes them feel good about themselves and about the world they're around, because that's how we felt when we wrote it. And also, illusions. It's not always easy, growing up or changing, but but at the end of it all, when you look back, it's worth it. Even though it can be hard. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Well, James Kraft from State of C, thanks for having me, man.
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Zach. Yeah,
really
my
appreciate
pleasure.
it. Illusions EP is out now on iTunes and Spotify.
That's right.
So go get the album, listen, and this has been Interviews by the Beach with Zach Boetto and James Kraft. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, thanks a lot.